Hello everyone and welcome to episode 9 of the Inexperience Points podcast. Today is September 15th, 2015. My name is Chris and I'm here with James Jimmy Pap Shepherd.
Hello everyone. Nice to be speaking to you, eventually.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
It has been a while. I think we need to start by apologising for our rather long break since the last episode. It's, well, pretty much all my fault.
I blame you entirely.
Yeah, I blame myself entirely. So I've moved house in the meantime. That was all a bit last minute. But yeah, I've moved house. I've had a couple of issues with my throat, which has been annoying. It's still a little bit iffy, so hopefully my voice doesn't give out.
What exactly have you been doing to your throat?
I think it was after I watched that film you recommended and then tried...
So you watched Deep Throat, didn't you?
Yeah, and then I tried the technique that it shows.
It's not for amateurs, is it?
It's not. They make it a lot easier than it actually is, definitely.
So you've learnt the hard way?
Yes, literally.
Yeah.
Literally. But we're back now and eager to get talking about games.
Yeah. Have you been playing many games?
Yes,
I imagine you have.
I have.
In 3 weeks.
I mean, I don't think we can possibly talk about all the games we've been playing and all the news in that time. So we'll just stick to what we've been up to recently.
Sure.
I've been playing some more Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin. And I've mostly been playing that co-op with my good friend Mark, who I've told you about before, who knows what he's doing.
Is that as in, when you say co-op, you mean he's just in the room with you? Or there's literally a co-op mode?
No, it is actually essentially a co-op mode. And because it's Dark Souls, it's never easy. To do it, you have to make a marker in your world, and then the other person will be able to see that marker and then summon you.
Huh.
But if someone else gets there first, then you're summoned to the wrong world. So it's a bit weird
Okay,
like that.
Sounds interesting.
But yeah, we've managed a few games on it, beaten some bosses, and it's very enjoyable in co-op. It's amazing actually, because I've traditionally played Dark Souls, Bloodborne, etc. in almost entirely single player, and they're very different experiences, because on your own they are bloody hard, and in co-op they're still hard, but especially when you're with someone who knows what they're doing, you can get through it a lot easier. Particularly with the bosses, I find. It shows how there could be quite a massive divide between the difficulty of the game. There's one boss who he's kind of a knight. You go and face him, he's pretty fast, kind of charges at you and takes off a lot of health in one hit. But there's actually some I forget what you call them, those siege weapons that are like giant bow and arrows. I forget what the like catapult sort of things.
Ballista?
Ballista, yeah, I think that's the word. Good work. Yeah, so they have some ballistas on the other side of the level. They look fairly innocuous, but it turns out you can actually use those to fire at him and cause massive damage.
Ah.
Now, if you're on your own and fighting against him single-handedly, he's bloody tough. Well, fairly tough. No tougher than your average Dark Souls boss. But in co-op mode, Mark was like, right, I'll distract him and you go fire that ballista over there, and we leveled him.
Nice. So how many ballista hits does it take?
Only a few. What's funny is that afterwards, Mark was like, you do know that if you'd have hit me with that, it'd have killed me, right? And I was like, what? Basically, I'd just been firing away merrily. And it's just by chance that it didn't hit him, because it would have killed him as well. I don't know why I didn't think of that.
No, well, yeah, of course, it's Dark Souls, so...
Yeah, it's Dark Souls. We went through a nice area after that, where we fought someone on a pirate ship. Yeah.
Was it a ghost pirate?
No, it wasn't, sadly. It was... it's kind of two people joined together. It's a bit weird. Yeah, but that's Dark Souls for you. So yeah, been playing a bit of that. That's nice. Whenever we get some time to go co-op on that.
Yeah, it probably does sound a bit... Well, it sounds like you enjoy it more with with Mark than on your own.
Yeah,
Which I think
they are powerful single player experiences because it just emphasizes kind of the loneliness and darkness of the setting and the world. So there's definitely merits to playing on your own, but as far as actually making your way through the game, it is a lot easier in co-op.
Yeah.
Still not like a walkover though, really. It's still tough, but a lot better.
Yeah. And it sounds like, as you said earlier, having someone who's experienced with the game helping you
makes
out
a big difference.
Quite a massive difference. That's cool.
That's my cat falling over in the background.
Puss.
Silly Puss. Well, I've played a few hours of that, but the majority of my time since the last episode has been on one very special game, which I have a feeling you're fond of yourself.
Oh, yeah. What might that be?
It begins with a W and ends with an Itcher.
Willy Itcher.
That's the one. So yeah, good old Witcher 3. I finally made a start.
Oh, yes.
It's been a while, and yeah, finally delved into it, and I'm really glad I have.
Yeah, I thought you would be,
because that is a bloody good game.
Come on,
bloody good game.
Tell me more. What have you been doing? What have you been witching?
I don't know where to start.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't want to give too much away. At the moment, I'm with there's that witch woman who you see in the bath with her boobs out.
Yennefer.
No, it's not Yennefer.
Sorry, the witch woman. Oh yeah, so you've. What is her name?
It's like Carrier or something. Carrier. No.
Yeah, I know who you mean. Anyway, I've forgotten.
It begins with a K.
It's been a while since I've done my witching.
Yeah, so I was with her in a cave, fighting some golems, some wraiths, and that was all cool. But as with any RPG, my favourite part of the game is the overworld.
Yeah.
And it is an amazing setting. Like, very, very rarely a game will cause a reaction in me where I literally look at the landscape, sit there with my mouth open, and I'm just like, holy shit, that looks amazing.
Yep.
And that was definitely the case when I first sort of started adventuring around the forests of The Witcher.
You mean in the prologue area, or?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess you'd... it would have been the prologue area. It just looks amazing. And
Kira Metz, that's the name.
Kira Metz, yes.
Sorry, that was going to do my head in.
No, well done. So being adventuring around there, and I think it was probably raining at the time. I was hunting after some wild dogs, and it was really windy. The sun, like there's sort of gorgeous sun rays coming through the tree canopy, and it was really windy. And I think how the foliage is animated is awesome. How it all blows in the breeze, it just looks, well, super realistic.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just looked at that and I was like, wow, that is a good looking game. But yeah, it's not just its beauty, which is impressive. It's also just really, really easy to get yourself lost in it, isn't it?
Oh yeah, preaching to the choir, really, aren't you?
Well, yeah, absolutely. There's so much to do, and all of that stuff is fun. I never found any of it a chore. Like grinding or anything. I was like, I don't want to do. It's all just, I want to do everything. Like, and there's a lot of freedom. I mean, as you'd expect in an open world game, but I came across a camp where they'd captured a merchant, and I think I was only like level 3, and there were level 10 enemies.
Yeah.
And so technically I shouldn't have really fought them, but I did actually fight them, and it took about 15-20 minutes. I just kept running around, constantly shooting at them with my crossbow, basically. Running up to them, using Igni, setting them on fire. It took forever. And technically I should have just ran away and came back to it at a later stage, but it was really satisfying when I finally downed them. That was cool.
Yeah, I do find the battles against the other humans particularly satisfying. I don't know why. I just think it's when you, because they're so annoying, a lot of them shouting abuse at you. When you finally get like that final decapitation, it's just all the more satisfying.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I mean, obviously, on this podcast we've talked a lot about The Witcher, so I'll move on for now.
Okie dokie.
I may have more to say about it next week, but yeah, I'm loving it.
Good,
really am. Right, there have been a few other bits and bobs, but one thing which comes to mind is one of the PlayStation Plus games. Now, I don't think we covered these because they came out during our
hiatus.
Brief dry spell. Yeah, that's right. But one that I've been trying is called Grow Home.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the one that you actually had to vote for.
Yeah, I remember you saying you were pleased because you voted for it, didn't you?
Yes, because I thought it looked really good. And so I thought I'd vote for it, and it won. So I downloaded that. I was quite excited. And so far, I'm not sure.
That's a disappointed noise.
Yeah. You're kind of a robot that controls very strangely. Basically, you've got to make a giant beanstalk grow. And on the side of these beanstalk, it's got like, I suppose, kind of massive beanstalk cocks. And you have to stand on the edge of the cocks.
Yeah. And
then you make the cocks grow.
Right.
And they just sort of extend.
Yeah.
And you have to...
Happen.
It happens. And you have to then penetrate nearby rocks, and then it makes your overall beanstalk grow even more. It's all right. It's different. I'll give you that.
Do you think it's purposefully lewd? Do you think they were having a laugh?
I don't know. I think it's just my dirty mind. I don't think they're really meant to be overly phallic, but they did kind of remind me of that. I think they have kind of a red end on them, and you just stand on the end, and make them grow.
Yeah, it's like sadomasochism.
That did make me laugh. Yeah. Now I think I need to give it some more time before I judge, but so far I'm not 100%. The controls are quite annoying, and the robot just flails around and falls off and dies, and yeah. But I have to commend Ubisoft on making games like this, because a lot of big publishers like EA won't really release unusual titles like that. It's basically an indie game, but by a major publisher.
Yeah.
They made a few like this. Like they made Child of Light.
I still need to play that.
Oh yeah, you'll have to give that a go sometime.
I will.
So that's not a standard AAA game, and they made Valiant Hearts, and yeah, this was another one, which is unusual. So I'm going to give it more of a go before I judge it fully.
Sounds fair enough.
Yeah. All right. So those are the main ones I wanted to talk about. How about yourself? What have you been playing?
So, the first thing I think I'll say is I've fallen out with a game.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I don't like to hear that.
A game hurt my feelings, and I fell out with it.
Did it call you a nasty name?
No, it was kind of passive-aggressive about things. It just did the wrong things, and it upset me, and I haven't played it since.
Oh no.
And this was my unofficial toilet game of Fallout Shelter.
Ah, yes. Okay. So please tell us what's irked you about it.
Well, I was doing really well, and I was loving it, and I was doing my usual kind of achievement whoring and collecting loads of characters, leveling up the characters in different skills, and leveling up my base nicely. But then one day, I loaded it up, and basically one of the things you have to do is you have to treat the water. You have to have people treating the water, otherwise your population starts getting radiation poisoning.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. And when I'd left it, everything was fine. So power levels were fine, radiation levels were fine, and food levels were fine. I came back and the water was all like, so the level was low. So basically saying you haven't treated enough water. So basically this all happened when I wasn't playing the game.
Is that meant to happen?
I don't really know. Usually when you're not playing, nothing, from what I noticed, nothing really drops that much.
Right.
But maybe I'd put the wrong... Maybe when I was playing it, I was managing the levels fine, but I had the wrong number of people on doing it whilst I was away or something. I don't know. But I came back and the levels were red, and loads of characters had radiation poisoning.
Oh, no.
But,
that's not good, is it?
Well, it basically means that it damages your health, and you have to cure them to get... So it kind of caps your health as well. So they were down to like a third health, half health, stuff like that. But it caps it until you use this item to cure it. And I didn't have enough of those to cure everyone anyway. And then like a fire broke out or something.
Oh, bloody hell.
Because you can rush rooms to improve things quicker, but there's a slight risk to it. And I think I rushed this treatment room to try and sort things out.
Yeah, as you would.
And it was a low level of risk, like, I don't know, 33% or something. So not hugely low, but then it didn't go in my favour. The fire broke out, and all these people with low health died. And so I killed a load of my best characters. But you can buy them back to life, but I didn't have enough currency, so bottle caps, I think it is.
Is this a case of where you'd have to pay real money to get enough?
I don't think you can buy bottle caps with real money, actually.
Okay.
I think the in-app purchases for that game there's only one thing, which is lunch boxes, which get you like special shit. In fact, there would be caps within those lunch boxes, to be fair. But I thought that's fine. It's pissed me off, so I'm not going to play it for a bit.
Sure.
I didn't bring the people back to life, but I thought if I come back, I intend to. And then I came back a few days later, and the dead characters had been wiped off. Like, they'd been gotten rid of, so I couldn't... Like, one of them was my highest level character. And because the corpse had been... So I didn't choose to get rid of the corpse. You can choose to either bring them back to life or get rid of the corpse. And I guess if you leave it for too long, it just gets rid of them.
Oh, dear.
So I came back, and it got rid of a load of my dead characters, so I couldn't even bring them back. So I was just like, you know what, fuck this game. And that was it.
I think you made a good decision there. You got your fill out of it, and then when things went south, probably wasn't worth investing the hours it would take to get you back up to that level, would it?
No, I don't think so. It got to a point where I wasn't enjoying it hugely anyway. It was more like...
I have heard mixed stuff about it.
It's just not... I think it's satisfying, but not that fun. Like, there's no real gameplay to it. No. It's just setting people tasks and jobs.
You're just pushing up your numbers, doing your chores, all that kind of thing, gradually improving your virtual world.
And I do enjoy that kind of thing, but after a while, you do think, oh, I am just setting tasks here and not really doing anything.
That's fair. That's fair.
So, yeah, that's that one.
Bit the dust.
No.
You fell out with Fallout.
I did.
Nah.
I did fall out with Fallout. So there we go. I didn't actually do that on purpose, but yeah, that's a fair summary. Right, moving on. I'm trying to remember which of these games I played most recently. But anyway, I'll start with Until Dawn. So I'm going to start by saying I fucking love this game. Like, I didn't even expect to play it. It was only when Mark at work mentioned it that it was even on my radar. So we looked it up, and from the trailer, like, I just kind of gathered it looked like it was a bit of a Saw rip-off, where there's this whole... Because to anyone, I'm sure everyone's heard of Until Dawn, but to those who haven't, it's a horror. It's a horror game. Obviously, if it's ripping off Saw, but they kind of harp on about this whole butterfly effect system,
Okay, sure.
Which you can tell they're terribly proud of it, because I think it mentions it in the trailers, and it certainly mentions it about 3 times at the start of the game. And this butterfly effect system is that if what seemingly small decisions at one point can impact things further on down the game, and
that's cool.
They kind of add up in these separate little paths. So there's loads of different ways you can influence little things, and there might be big things that, it might end up getting a character killed, or it might be smaller things where it affects certain dialogue.
Sure.
Or certain smaller events. So yeah, so we watched that trailer when Mark at work mentioned it, and it kind of stuck with me. I thought, that seems interesting, but I didn't intend to buy it.
But you just couldn't help yourself.
Well, what happened was I showed the trailer to Zoe when we were out for lunch, and she said, I really like the look of this, because it's kind of game you could play together. Because
I've heard that, actually. I've heard that.
Yeah,
good spectator game.
Yeah, it's absolutely fun, because it's kind of like watching a film. It's like a long film, and they've nailed like the lighting and the atmosphere and the whole kind of horror genre feel and story. That's what you want. It's just like a film, but in some ways it's scarier because you have to advance it. Like if you're watching a horror film, if you don't want to look, you don't have to. Or if a character decides to do something, you've got to watch him do it. Whereas this, if there's a corner you really don't want to go round, you kind of have to, so you kind of edge yourself like, something's going to jump out here, but come on, let's...
I totally agree. I've always found horror games scarier than horror films. I'm a bit of a wimp, actually, when it comes to some horror games.
Yeah. I don't know how... Like, I found it quite freaky, and the jump scares are definitely there. And I certainly know Zoe found it scary, because I had to keep telling her that she has to look at the screen if she expects to get through it. Because it was actually her who was doing most of the controls. So
awesome, okay.
So that was kind of funny. So when you're watching like a horror film, if there's a jump scare, you can look away or whatever. But with this, there's almost immediately like a quick time event or something to do afterwards. So
if you look away, your bloody character will die. Yeah.
Well, it's in some scenarios. Some of the jump scares are kind of like gimmicky or whatever, where it doesn't actually do anything that harms you. It just makes you jump.
No.
Whereas others, like literally, if you fuck up after it, a character can die. So you have to be sharp, even if it's just made you jump.
Nice one.
But yeah, I don't think, like, gameplay wise, there's not a huge amount to say about it. It's traditionally something I wouldn't think I'd enjoy. So as I said, quick time events, just making choices which way to go, what to say, and quite a clever mechanic of having to stay dead still at certain times. So
where you have to hold your controller still.
Yeah, and if you move too much, or even slightly in some cases, it can result in you getting found or getting killed and stuff like that.
Bloody hell. I have heard someone say that while they were playing the game, they felt like they were almost the director of a film. Did you feel like that? That you kind of had the power to change how the story went?
Yeah, and I think that's part of the appeal of it. So if you've ever watched a horror film and you've gone, that's fucking stupid, why have they gone in that room? Or why have they done that? You have the choice to change that. And I think it's fair to... I think most people know, it's not spoilery to say, like, loads of people can die, or loads of people can be saved, depending on how you play. I think that's how it's kind of advertised from the off. So...
Sure.
Whereas in your traditional horror film, you'd have set it's quite clever actually, because a lot of these stereotypical horror film things are in there, like the jock and the geeks and the pretty slutty one and stuff like that.
Yeah, all your archetypes.
But it still kind of turns it on its head, because there's more depth to them than is originally made out. Apart from one who's purposely the annoying one, and she remains annoying throughout. So much so that I think it's a better ending if you kill her than like.
But that's cool that it essentially gives you the decision to do away with her if you want.
Yeah, it kind of does. It's there are you can and there's definitely some scenarios where afterwards, and I won't go into detail with these, but you do think I wouldn't do that. So there might be something, and you might choose to just to avoid it, or
sure.
And there's sometimes when you have to make a decision, and it says left or right, for example, as in do A or do B, or maybe just do A within a certain amount of time. And if you just do nothing, that could do something as well.
So that's kind of a decision in itself.
Yeah, so you can just choose to not react to certain things, which can make a difference as well. It's quite clever.
Yeah, awesome. I do like the sound of it.
I'd definitely recommend it. Like, it's been a while since a game's had the sort of impact that had on me, like in terms of rooting for certain characters and the whole feel and the anxiety of going, in certain places, and it's almost like it's kind of like, I don't know, I found myself looking forward to playing it and then playing it thinking, why was I looking forward to this? This is horrible. Like, it's so bizarre, but it was a bit of an unexpected one for me. But
awesome.
If anyone gets a chance, make sure you play it, and play it with the lights off at night.
Screw that.
So can't speak highly enough of that game.
Well, glad to hear it. So, is there anything else you've been on with?
Yes, final one now.
Go ahead.
So, as we know, the new Metal Gear Solid game is out.
Is it?
Yeah. Who'd have thought we'd know that?
Yeah, I'd never heard of it. What's the latest one? Metal Gear Solid 3? Is that it?
Yeah. Metal Gear Solid 3 Big Boss Eater or something.
Okay, yep. Sounds good. So that's come out recently then.
So, I haven't played that. I'll get that straight out there. I've actually got it. So, people will be listening to this thinking, what the fuck? You've got that game and you still haven't played it. But the reason for that is because I hadn't played the previous one. If you want to call it the prologue, which is, Ground Zeroes?
Yeah.
Now, I had that.
And that makes sense that you wanted to play that first.
Yeah, and I'm glad I did. I already had it from PlayStation Plus.
Mm-hmm.
And at first I thought, you know what, I just want to get an idea of what's going on with the story before I start the new one. And I did. I completed...
Cool.
The main story of it's only about an hour and a half long, and it's fine. I didn't play well. I got through it, and I thought, that's it now. I'm happy. I can start the new one, and I'm up to date. I know what's going on. Well, I say I know what's going on.
As much as you can know what's going on.
For a Metal Gear Solid game.
In Metal Gear, yeah.
I was happy. But then I did a bit of Googling and found out that you can carry things over from doing well in...
Okay.
So I've been continuing on. I'm not going to try and get everything in Ground Zeroes, but I want to get enough of the things you can carry over to kind of give myself a bit of a boost and not miss out on a few things in the next one.
That's cool.
I think it's mainly, I think there's a few costumes if you do really well, but the main thing I noticed was, so there's Mother Base in the new one where you can recruit people, soldiers, and you can carry over some soldiers if you rescue them. One of them is the game designer, Hideo Kojima.
Oh, really? Yeah. He makes a cameo, does he?
Yeah. And I don't know how other people felt about this, but I thought it was a bit over the top. So he has his own... So there's the main mission, but there's these little side missions that use the same sort of assets. So you're in the same area. But there's different, objectives. And his, this one was rescue the basically our guy who's put out an SOS from the base. So Big Boss rushes in, kills loads of people to save him. But I just thought it was like giving himself lip service, like because they kept. So you're going in to save this Intel guy, and then they keep commenting on him, going, "Wow, he's stolen a vehicle. Good work." And then it's like, "Whoa, that's some good driving. I'd expect no less of you," and stuff like this, like basically bumming off him.
I can believe that. Have you heard about MGS5? How it works with each chapter of the game?
No, go on.
So with every single chapter of Metal Gear Solid 5, the full game, apparently at the start it has credits and his name is there. So for every single chapter at the start it goes, directed by Hideo Kojima, written by Hideo Kojima. And then at the end of the chapter, the credits roll and have his name again. And then it does that constantly throughout the entire game. His name's plastered on the game about 100 times or something stupid.
There's no need for that, is there? There's no need for that.
Well, I don't know. I don't know whether he's doing it jokingly or whether he really is that full of himself. But he's an interesting dude, is Kojima.
Yeah, well, I've got nothing against the guy. Quite the opposite. But I just thought this was a bit odd. Like,
yeah, it sounds it.
I think there's a difference between a cameo. Like, I think it would have been quite cool if he'd been like a guard or something, or like a scientist or something knocking about. And if you look closely, you'd notice it was his face, that kind of thing. But to have this whole like mission based around him, and then at the end you say he sticks in your helicopter after you saved him, like on the loading screen. Sorry, on the main menu. So he sticks around in the helicopter with Snake, and there's this is the whole like, what took you so long, Snake, when he gets to like, and it pans right up on his face, and like, it's just all, well,
sounds amazing.
Yeah, I guess Metal Gear Solid is an over the top franchise, and that fitted hand in hand with it.
He probably wanted to really leave his mark on the games, with everything that's gone off. I mean, have you heard about everything that went off with Konami?
I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I know this is his last, isn't it? He's not doing another.
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm led to believe.
Yeah, no one knows what actually happened, but essentially there was a massive fallout, and Kojima has now been, let go. Essentially,
they probably just politely asked him to stop putting credits in every fucking chapter.
That's probably it. It was probably like, I think we'll get rid of the normal protagonist, and I think I'll be the protagonist for Metal Gear Solid 5. He was probably saying stuff like that, and Konami put their foot down.
Please, can we just have credits at the start of each chapter rather than both? No.
People must know I made this game.
Someone might not realise that I made this fucking game. I did notice that you get the credits every time on Ground Zeroes as well. So the main mission is short. You get the credits after that. The side missions are particularly short. You get the credits every time after that. I thought that was a bit over the top. Let alone what they've done in this next one.
Yeah, every single chapter. Brilliant. So you're glad you've gone through that first then, and you're geared up now, ready for the main event.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like, I enjoyed the game. I haven't really said too much about how much I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I found myself cocking up a few times, getting a bit frustrated, but on the whole, I enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to getting stuck in with the next one.
Sweet. I've got a bit of a dilemma there because I want to buy the full game on PC.
Yep.
But I have Ground Zeroes on PS4.
Right.
So not really played through it yet.
From what I've read, I don't think it's a massive deal. I think.
Okay, so it's not the end of the world if I don't get all that stuff carrying over.
No, I think it's like just as. Again, I could be totally wrong. From what I read, I think they make more of a difference to your base stats towards the start of the game, and it's kind of negligible by later on. Although I don't know what difference base stats make anyway, because it's not like I've played the game. So I just know that you get a few extra members of staff or whatever knocking about that you wouldn't normally get.
Fair enough then.
Including Kojima himself.
Yeah, that is a good.
And he's got really good stats, unsurprisingly.
I'm surprised he's not invincible, to be honest, and shoots like death rays out of his eyeballs.
Yeah, he makes a massive amount of difference.
Sweet. So, is that everything? Well, is that the main things that you would like to talk about for this week?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Wonderful. So, without further ado, I suppose we'll move on to our nice features.
Yes.
Of course, we've got the good old bargain bin bundle bollocks.
Classic.
And the one that I've been playing since last time is another game I got out of that excellent Japanese bundle that I got hyper-dimensioning nepti semicolon thingy.
Yeah.
Yep. That one. So that had quite a few interesting ones in. And the one I've got here that I've been playing is called Neo AQUARIUM. And that's in caps for some reason. That's in all caps. So it's Neo AQUARIUM, the king of crustaceans.
Oh, yes. This sounds ideal.
Yeah. It's a bit different to Hyperdimension, I have to say. It's not your typical game.
Doesn't sound it.
And no. So the main premise... In fact, I don't even really understand the premise. But for some reason, we've got giant sea creatures that can shoot lasers and fire guns and stuff and bombs.
Yeah.
And I think basically people pit them against each other for their entertainment.
Oh, it's Pokemon then.
Yeah. Right, so when you start the game, you have this really, really awful exposition. It tries to explain some kind of story, but oh my god, it's dreadful. But then you get right into it. You get to choose which sea creature. So you've got a variety of crabs to choose from. You can be a lobster. And yeah, all sorts of delightful crustaceans.
So which did you pick?
I think I tried a couple of different crabs and then a lobster as well. They don't play that differently.
No.
So it's just a one-on-one, at least what I've seen. I've not exactly completed it. And you're just in this really weird combat arena underwater. And it has the jankiest controls and handling I've seen in a game in a long time. In fact, I never really did work out exactly how you play it. And half of the screen is just plastered with a list of all the controls. It's that sort of complex and ridiculous that the controls are constantly up on the screen at all times. And I still didn't know what I was doing.
Yep.
So I was just sort of flailing around as this silly crab. It's got realistic-ish graphics. So it's not cartoony. So it's trying to be somewhat realistic, but then your crabs are shooting lasers and firing bombs at each other.
Yeah.
So it seems to be easier to go up and down than it is to move like side to side and stuff. So I kept just sort of swimming up and down. Crab. It is actually, isn't it? Now you make that's a good point. So yeah, it's one-on-one battles, crab versus crab, and it's just bloody stupid, really. I was just sort of flailing around, not knowing what I was doing. The attacks just don't really make any sense. I was just sort of mashing buttons, hoping for the best. Sometimes I'd drop some bombs. Sometimes I'd kind of explode, but then it wouldn't do anything. And it's just crazy. It's very Japanese, very Japanese.
So considering you didn't really know what you were doing, did you manage to get very far, or did you just perish? Other poke crabs.
I got through, I don't know, a few levels. Then I kept restarting because I think it crashed a couple of times, so I had to start from the beginning. So that was great.
It's a good sign, yeah.
It's a pretty detestable piece of shit. I mean,
it's a box quote if I've ever heard one.
Yeah, that would sell some games right there.
I would actually buy a game if it said on the front, a pretty detestable piece of shit. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's very self-aware that it is ridiculous, and that's evident in how the story's told. It tries to be funny and very self-aware, but it's just appalling. Wouldn't recommend that one at all. It's kind of a case of sometimes games are so bad they're good.
Yeah.
But this one is just bad.
Just bad.
Yeah, I can't really see the appeal of this one, I'm sorry to say. So this is very much a bollocks title from the bargain bin of bundles.
Yeah, it's fitted right in there.
I have got a very large selection to choose from for next week, though.
Okay.
I've been buying bits and bobs here and there. I have resisted buying the bundle I showed you the other day. Can you remember which one that was?
I can't remember the title of it.
I think it's called the Sexy Girls Bundle.
Yep.
And it just basically looked like hentai porn games.
I think that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, and I thought that was probably taking it too far, really. Just a little bit.
That might be the final straw in your relationship when Kaz walks in and you're playing
tentacle porn.
Yeah. Tentacle porn has ruined many a solid relationship.
I'm sure it has. Quite devastating.
Finding out your lover's into tentacle porn can really...
Exactly. So yeah, I'm giving that one a wide berth. I think we'll stick to the usual crock of shit, the slightly pervy anime games, and then
not fully
all the other
pervy.
rubbish. No, that's right. Yeah, I'll have to decide on something interesting for next week.
Although I must admit, I'm not sure which I find worse. Like, I'd probably be less offended by a porn game, because at least it's saying, look, this is just porn. You know what you're getting, as opposed to, like, that educational game that's just thrown perviness in.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. It tries to pose as something else, doesn't it?
Yeah, as opposed to just going, look, if you want to see naked cartoon chicks, this is for you.
One of the well, actually, I'll read out titles of a couple of them. I've just found the bundle again.
Oh, excellent.
Only 1.5 days left, so if I change my mind, I've still got a bit of time. But one of them's called it's called Boob Wars.
Yep.
Big breasts versus flat chests.
It's a real life issue.
It is, isn't it?
It is.
So that's one of them, and the next one is Mills, Night of Anal Tyranny.
So, sorry, is that night with a K or night with
a K? Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know where to start with that.
I don't really want to get tyrannical on some poor anime girl's anus. I'd just rather steer clear of all that kind of thing. It doesn't.
No, I don't think.
Doesn't appeal.
I don't think. Being a knight of anal tyranny is a good thing.
No.
Or maybe it
There's
is.
definitely some tentacles going on in that one as well.
Oh, bloody tentacles! What is it with the tentacles? Why can't they just? As if it's not weird enough looking at cartoon women as it is, and do it with tentacles as well.
I seem to recall it's kind of a weird censorship loophole. So I think for Japanese porn, they've got to censor the willies or something. But because it's a tentacle, it looks like a willy, but it's not actually. So they can get away with not censoring it.
Don't they have to censor the vag, or is it just willies?
Oh, I don't know, actually. I'm not sure.
We're obviously not as clued up on this subject as we should be.
We're not experts, are we, on Japanese pornography?
But it's
probably something we should look into, research a bit better.
Yeah, we'll start a second podcast.
That could be interesting. Okay, so yeah, I think I'm going to steer clear of that one. And stick to the normal roster of shit.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So, that's my feature done. And we'll move on to the toilet game of the week, shall we?
Yeah, let's do that. Or in this case, toilet game of the month.
Yeah, pretty much, isn't it? Yeah. Sorry about that. So, what have you been playing?
So I'm gonna open this with an apology, because firstly, it was a while ago that I actually played this.
Okay.
And secondly, it didn't really grip me, so I didn't play it very much. So I apologise.
Right. If you could just give us a bit of a flavour.
Yeah, this is going to be really vague, and how much I remember. But basically, what was it called? It was a play on D&D, Doom and Destiny.
Yes.
Advanced. This was the advanced one. Whether it seemed like maybe you're supposed to know the characters, maybe they're the same ones from the first one, but you start in this tower. It's kind of like a 16-bit RPG feel to it. In fact, that's exactly what it is. And straight away, it makes me think of kind of like the Final Fantasies, on the SNES and that kind of era, which was a bit before me, RPG-wise. I think I got into RPGs after Final Fantasy VII, although I have gone back and played the older ones and quite enjoyed them. But
okay, that's cool.
I think I don't know what it is, but I played it, and I think I got to a point where I was like, you know what, this doesn't work for me anymore. Turn-based battles, just what people that classic RPG style. It just I don't know. I just wasn't in the mood for it. And even though it's got this modern twist, it's some modern lads basically role playing. I think they're effectively playing their equivalent of Dungeons and Dragons and in this fantasy world, or something goes wrong.
Sure. Okay.
But yeah, it's just that it's kind of like a fantasy, fantasy RPG with a kind of self-awareness, as you were saying earlier, where modern day people doing this fantasy stuff, but they're still kind of role playing, because although they're modern and talking in modern lingo, they're still dressed up as knights and mages, and it's just turn-based battle mechanics. I didn't get very far through the story. There was kind of like I got through this prologue type thing where just getting used to the mechanics, and then you get absolute, one of those bosses you can't beat. Like sometimes it's just like in a lot of games, in part of the story you have to lose a battle.
Oh, okay, sure.
Well, I presume you have to lose, because they would just do massive damage on me and nothing on them. And then you go back in time to where the story kind of begins, where you're these four lads going around to your mate's house, and he's the dungeon master, and you can't find him. And I just got to a point where I was looking around for him, doing random battles in the cellar, and I just wasn't feeling it. I just don't think I don't think I'm in the mood for those games anymore. Much like I wouldn't buy Final Fantasy 4 or something on my phone to play on that.
No, that's fair. I know they've just announced that they're releasing Final Fantasy 5 remade on PC, for instance.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm the same. I'm not sure I could be bothered.
I don't know what it's. Yeah, sorry.
It'd be updated graphics, but it's still that kind of old turn-based battle, and some people really want that. That's what they really want. They're not into your modern BioWare kind of RPGs and your Elder Scrolls. They want the old school retro Final Fantasy, turn-based, all that sort of thing. So it's whatever floats your boat. Different strokes, different folks.
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head really there. I think if that's what you want, that's what you're going to get. As I say, with this kind of modern twist, and there's a clear sense of humour to it. I wouldn't say it was laugh out loud funny, but quite quirky sense of humour.
That's fair.
But yeah, it didn't feel like anything new, if you know what I mean. I didn't feel like, this is. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's not supposed to. I think it's supposed to be harking back to the classics. That's kind of what it's doing. There was one weird mechanic where you share resources. I don't think I'd played that in a game before, where you kind of like find resources around the environment and then you use that within battle, and you share it between the characters as well as them having their own special mana. But other than that, it was
Okay.
pretty standard kind of attack magic systems.
So yeah, it didn't really grip you then.
No, not at all, unfortunately.
Well, I'm hoping this week's title is going to appeal to you a bit better. We're going all in this week, if you're okay with that.
Yep.
I wondered if you might fancy investing in a proper premium quality mobile title for sitting on the shitter with.
Some high quality shitting going on. Is that what
Definitely.
you're proposing?
Yeah, and the game in question is Lara Croft Go.
Ah, that's interesting. There's a lot of Go at the moment, but we'll come to that later.
Oh, okay.
It's all about Go, isn't it? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, thing is, when you sat on the toilet, you need some motivation sometimes to help you go.
Just remind yourself why you're there.
Yeah, I mean, what better motivation than Lara Croft?
Yeah. Oh, that'd work, yeah.
Okay, so this is a pretty recent release. Probably came out a couple of weeks ago. I've heard very good things about it. I quite like the look of it myself. Now, it's not your standard tomb raiding.
Okay.
Because, let's face it, I don't think that would work very well on a mobile device. It's actually... Okay, now, this probably sounds a bit bad after what we've just been talking about, but it's actually turn-based.
Oh, for fuck. I take it back, I'm not paying for this.
But, not turn-based in that kind of manner. It's kind of a turn-based strategy puzzle kind of thing.
Okay.
Now, I want you to trust me on this one. I've got a good feeling about it. On paper, it doesn't sound great, but I've got a good feeling. So, if we look at the blurb, Lara Croft Go is a turn-based puzzle adventure set in a long-forgotten world. Explore the ruins of an ancient civilization and uncover the myth of the Queen of Venom. Yeah. There's lots more, but I can't bother to read all that out.
Sounds good.
So, I've heard good stuff about it, and hopefully it will grip you a bit better than the last one. How's that sound? So, it's actually a whole £3.99.
Okay. So that's about as high as... Well, it's certainly the highest we've ever gone. How much...
It is.
What would you say the most expensive kind of app
Mobile game
is?
So, funnily enough, talking of Final Fantasy, the worst offenders are Square Enix.
Cool.
Their old Final Fantasy remakes, they like to price them at about £10-11.
Right.
Which is pretty steep. So we're not quite in that territory.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, it is steep for what it is, but at the same time, it's not too bad relative to other things. But then you think how much gets spent on free games where you're making app purchases.
Well, that's it. I mean, this will either have no in-app purchases or the purchases will be minimal. So at least in this scenario, you're free to just play and enjoy the game without feeling pressured to buy any in-game currency and all that kind of crap.
Yeah.
Okay, so hopefully you enjoy that. Look forward to hearing your thoughts.
Yeah.
Right, we'll move on to the news now. Obviously a lot's gone off since the last episode, but I've just picked out a few things which I thought would be interesting to us, and a few that took my fancy. So today we had the Sony Tokyo Game Show. I think that's what it's called, something like that.
That was today.
Unsurprisingly, that's held in Tokyo. Yes, so that's today that we recorded, which, as you say, is the 15th of September.
Yep.
There were a few interesting bits of Sony news, a few that interested me in particular. Firstly, a proper new entry in the Danganronpa series is coming out.
The what?
Would I be right in thinking you've probably never heard of that?
I'm upset to say that I haven't. Where's it been in my life?
Well, it's a good question. Now, the main issue is that it's a Vita game.
That'll be why.
That's probably why you've never heard of it.
Has it always been Vita?
Yes. I don't think it's on anything else. But it is a very, very good game. Now, through Bargain Bin Bundle Bollocks, I've ventured into some anime
Filth.
interactive narrative games. Obviously, we had Go-Go Nipple Girls,
Yep.
whatever it was called. That was kind of an interactive narrative. And then East Tower Akio.
Another classic.
That was a classic as well. So Danganronpa is an interactive novel, but it is pretty incredible. It's actually, no exaggeration, one of the best stories I've ever seen in a video game. It completely took me by surprise. Wasn't expecting it at all. I've got the second one ready to play. I've not played that yet, so I'll have to play that and then look forward to this third one coming out. So, very quickly, the premise of the first Danganronpa: you're a group of students starting at a new high school,
Of course.
and you're held captive by an evil teddy bear.
Yep. They
Yep.
they do that. They do that sometimes.
They do that. Yep. So you're held captive by an evil teddy bear, and the only way you can get out of the school is by murdering one of your fellow classmates. But then when a murder takes place, everyone investigates into it, and if you're found out, you are killed in a horrific manner.
By who? The police?
By the evil teddy bear.
Wait, what?
We'll move on, shall we? I think trying to explain this will be here all night. Basically, it's crazy, but it's brilliant. Much better than I'm making it sound.
Well, it sounds pretty excellent.
Okay. So yeah, there's a new one of those coming out, which I'm very excited about.
Is it the same premise? Still got an evil teddy bear?
I presume so. The second one is set on an island, so you're kind of captive on an island, and I think the teddy bear makes a return, so he's probably number 3 as well. I'm
Excellent.
going to guess. Right, Gravity Rush, another game, very good game, that was doomed to obscurity by being on the Vita. That's been remade for the PS4, and a new one's coming out for PS4 as well.
Oh, good.
Basically, Sony have given up on the Vita pretty much because, wow, it's not been very successful. It's a shame, because I bloody love it. So now they've brought Gravity Rush, one of the best games from the console, over to the PS4. Well, at least they are doing. That's what they announced today.
Seems wise.
Yep. We also had some pretty new colours of the DualShock 4 coming out. Gold and a silver one, a jet black one, and a crystal clear crystal one.
I always find that shit quite gimmicky. Don't.
Well, yeah, I mean, I like the look of some of them, but I've never liked the old see-through
Oh, yeah, that's the
controllers.
worst.
They look awful. They had those on Xbox and stuff, and yeah. No, not my cup of tea. Yakuza 6 was announced, which I don't really give a monkey's about. Some people probably do.
Yeah, I haven't played any of them. I thought they looked alright, like as a kind of...
they're meant to be alright.
Yeah, a bit of a GTA vibe with, you know, Japanese bizarreness thrown in.
Yeah. And finally, talking of Japanese bizarreness, Kingdom Hearts 2.8.
I can't be doing with that title, for a start.
No. Have you played Kingdom Hearts?
I loved the first and didn't really like the second and kind of gave up after that.
Okay, so I've never played it. I want to, but I just can't understand what's going on because there's so many different variations of the game. I mean, not only were there variations to begin with on the PS2 and the 3DS, no, not 3DS, the original DS? I don't know. But they released Kingdom Hearts 1.5 HD remake on the PS3, then Kingdom Hearts 2.5 HD remix.
Wait, is 1.5 an HD remake of 1?
I don't know.
Or is it an HD remake of 1.5?
I don't know. And then 2.5, that's fairly comprehensive. That has like a few of them in. And now they've announced 2.8. But 2.8 is not all of the games in 2.5. 2.8 apparently is just remade versions of the first one and some spin-offs, and then a Kingdom Hearts film.
I get the impression they're just milking this.
I don't know. I don't know what to say. Because I'd really like to play them. I just wish they'd make a definitive version. Oh, shut up, cat.
I think for me...
Cat's in the background.
And I dare say it's kind of similar with Assassin's Creed, that when a game gets pumped out so much, I lose interest. Especially when they start doing it over multiple platforms.
It's pretty mental. Pretty mental.
And yeah, Kingdom Hearts was kind of alright, but like the story, you got to take the story with a pinch of salt anyway, because you've got this guy with a giant key, you've got loads of random characters, well not random, but loads of characters from Final Fantasy for some reason there, you've got loads of characters from Disney for some reason there, and they've tried to tie it all in with this bizarre and often overly cheesy storyline. Well, it certainly wasn't the early ones. Yeah, like the power of
Disney
friendship.
friends.
Yeah. It's like, oh, well, you know, we'll take on this guy with a massive sword with friendship and a giant key. Like, yeah.
Good luck, mate.
Try that in real life. Yeah.
Educating our youth.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, we'll move on to a slightly more sensible Japanese franchise, and that is Super Mario. With the news that Super Mario Brothers turned 30. I don't know whether it was today, yesterday. It was around this kind of time anyway. So the 30th anniversary of the very first Mario game on the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Wow.
He's come a long way, as our good friend Mario. For an Italian plumber, he's not done bad.
He doesn't do a lot of plumbing.
He doesn't.
Except plumbing Peach.
I like it.
Well, I'm not sure he gets to do
that's
that.
when he can get to her. Yeah, Bowser's usually having his fill, isn't he?
Yeah.
Bloody Bowser.
What's he like, eh?
Yeah. Obviously, there's that Mario Maker game coming out on Wii U. If it's not already come out, I think it's already come out.
Yeah, I watched a review of that. I kind of lost interest in it.
I don't like games where you have... It's like... It just feels like a cop-out. Games where you have to make the game. It's like Little Big Planet.
Yeah.
I just want a good game.
It's like, yeah,
I don't want to make my own game.
Completely agree. Leave it to the professionals. Like,
yeah, that's what they're paid for.
Yeah, that's what they're good at as well, you know.
I mean, it's just going to be like fucking stupid levels with spike pits and a million Goombas, isn't it?
Yeah. And that's it, yeah. Oh, you can play some level that some twat has made, and he's made it really hard because he's a twat. It's like, no, I don't want to play that.
Yep, we'll pass on that.
I don't want to play my piece of shit level. I don't want to play twat next door's level. No. I want to play the game maker's level.
Absolutely.
Because he's good at making games.
I'm glad we agree on that matter.
Yeah. I think we're quite firm on that one.
One Nintendo game that I would like to play at least of a Nintendo franchise, is something that was announced recently.
Yeah.
Pokemon Go.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Have you heard about this?
I'm looking forward to talking about this.
I'm more excited than I feel I should be. I can see you hanging your head in shame over the webcam.
No, I'm just thinking about how cringeworthy everyone's going to be playing this game.
Oh, absolutely.
Even the advert is full of cringeworthy.
Oh, I'm glad you've watched that. It is mental, isn't it? The crowd of people gathering in the city to fight Mewtwo.
Imagine that in Nottingham. All end up mugged.
So for anyone who doesn't know, Pokemon Go, what can you tell us about it?
It's ripped off Tomb Raider's name.
It has.
And it's all mobile, and you have to catch Pokemon in RL, in the real world.
In the real world? You mean we've got to step outside of our doors and venture into the outside world? Unbelievable.
Call me... there's going to be warnings all over this, but I'm instantly thinking people are going to end up in places they shouldn't be, or hit by traffic and all sorts, trying to catch a fucking... whatever. Pigeon.
Yeah. Trying to get your Pidgey.
Yeah.
Now, the reason I'm excited is because of who's developing it. It's, I don't know how you pronounce it. Niantic, who made the inGRS game. Did I tell you about this?
I don't think so.
So at one stage, I was very addicted to this inGRS game, and I played it every day. It's a similar premise, but basically landmarks in the real world are determined to be bases, and there's two factions. You choose a faction, and then you have to go and capture these landmarks by walking up to them, attacking them, and then building defenses around them. So it's kind of a constant push and pull between the two factions, trying to capture as much of the local area as possible. And I'll admit, I played it walking to and from work every day. I used to go out on my lunch breaks, going to the at our work in Nottingham Centre. I used to go on my lunch breaks, walking around, trying to capture bases.
Was this at the new place or the old place?
This was at the old place.
Okay.
It's been a while since I've played it, but I did really get into it.
So you utilise your lunchtime to...
Yeah. And, well, if this is half as deep and interesting, then I'm probably going to be all over this, which I feel quite sad to say, but...
I'm very intrigued as well myself. And I can see myself playing it at least out of curiosity, and it will be addictive.
If they pull it off, this is going to be huge, because inGRS was even marketed kind of nerdily. It was originally kind of released by Google almost, and it was very much a nerdy game. It had like sci-fi aesthetic and all this sort of thing, futuristic stuff, but Pokemon appeals to so many people, even though it's had its day to some extent, but so many people have fond memories of it, that the idea of playing on your smartphone, which obviously so many casual gamers do nowadays, but being able to play Pokemon on your smartphone in the real world, essentially, that's gonna hook a lot of people, I think.
I think this is what, as a kid, you were hoping for.
Oh, definitely.
And so it's been like such a long time since I've cared about Pokemon, other than laughing about it or nostalgia or whatever.
Yeah.
But then you think, actually, like, this is... If I'd have told my kid self that one day this would happen, I'd be looking forward to it.
You'd counting down the years, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you'd be like, whoa, Pokemon in the real world. Like, that's...
It's like how we're on the crux of getting proper, decent VR.
Yeah.
Like, that's the stuff I daydreamed about as a kid, thinking how amazing it would be, and we're finally going to get it. But yeah, this is similar stuff, but this is AR, isn't it? Augmented reality.
Yeah.
It's going to be...
I do wonder how they're going to, like... How they're going to level it in terms of, like... Are you going to have to be pretty much a hiker to catch rare Pokemon? Are you going to have to be walking all the time, or is it going to be a bit random? That's what I'm
yeah, it's left me with a lot of questions, and I guess
am I going to have to travel to fucking Edinburgh if I if I want a certain Pokemon? Or...
Yeah, it's a good point. You'd think there'd be multiples scattered throughout the country.
Yeah.
And then I imagine probably some of the most powerful Pokemon will be in city centres. That's what I'd guess. But who knows? It could be anyone's guess.
But yeah, we'll look forward to finding out more about that.
All right. So that's all the news I could be asked to talk about. So we'll just move on to a brief look at releases, shall we?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
If you'd like to have the honours of reading out this very exciting list, which I know has us quite pumped.
I'm absolutely stoked about all of these. Starting with one that's out today, which is Destiny: The Taken King.
Destiny.
Now this is DLC for Destiny, isn't it?
It certainly is.
You've played Destiny, haven't you?
Yeah, I played it briefly.
So you're getting this. You've got this already. You're playing it now.
I bought Destiny. I then sold it a week later at a profit because I was like, I'm not going to be asked to put time into this.
Oh yeah, I think we might discuss this before actually. So you're not getting that. I'm not getting it because I've never played it. But if you love Destiny, I'm sure you've already got it, and you don't need telling.
Quite a few people do. Yeah, I'm sure you've been playing it solidly since 10 a.m. I think it was. It went live.
Yep.
Today.
And by the time you hear this, you'll have been playing it for a long fucking time.
Oh, definitely. They're probably just listening to this right now just to keep them occupied while they're grinding for more whatever it is that they grind for in Destiny. Loot and shit.
Better stuff.
Cool. So there's that.
There is that.
What else have we got that's got us excited?
You know what? I'm just going to read all these out at once because. So there's.
You're going to group them together.
Yeah,
I think that's fair. Go ahead.
So NHL 16. That's out on the 17th.
Okay.
NHL. What's that? What sport's that?
I don't know what it stands for, but it's the ice hockey, isn't it? It's not American football, is it?
Don't know. Yeah.
Madden's the American football.
Yeah.
NHL is the hockey?
Yeah. National Hockey League, there we go.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So,
cool.
Yeah. If you love NHL, that is for you.
Yes, it is.
However, if you love football, you've got to choose, well, you don't have to choose, but you probably will choose between Pro Evo 2016, which is out on the 18th, and FIFA 16, which is out on the 24th.
Absolutely. Now, despite being someone who does not give a shit about football in either the real world or in the video game industry, I have heard very positive things about both of this year's releases, both PES and FIFA, particularly PES. Doesn't really interest me in the slightest, but I've heard that whatever they've done is good. So, good on you.
So it sounds like they've done something beyond the normal, because a lot of the time it's just slightly tweaking the mechanics and updating the graphics and players and stuff. It sounds to me, from what you're going off, they've gone the extra mile this year.
Yeah, particularly with PES, which I understand has been lacking a bit for a few years. FIFA's been leading the way, but supposedly PES has brought it back a bit. So, good on them. And I'm sure footy fans will be excited.
Yeah. Oh, I don't doubt it. Sports fans in general are laughing at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
And then we've got Forza 6.
The final one. Forza. Now,
Forza.
Is it Forza? I think it's Forza as opposed. It's spelled Forza, but I think it's Forza.
Forza.
We'll go with that, shall we?
Yeah.
So we've got a lot of 6s going on. We've got our 16s, our 2016s, and our 6s.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not really into my Brums much. Don't know about you.
No.
Cars.
No, I don't play many racing games.
I have played a bit of Forza in the past, and I will give it respect for the fact that, as someone who doesn't really care about cars, I quite enjoyed it. It's kind of the Top Gear effect where you don't like the subject matter, but just because of the way it's presented, you still find a way of enjoying it. So, you know, I moderately enjoyed Top Gear, even though I didn't care about cars, and I can say the same for Forza. It was just a really nicely polished game. I know the 5th one wasn't meant to be particularly great. It was an early release on the Xbone, and I think it was just a bit rushed, didn't have as much content. But this one apparently has a lot more content, and it's meant to be good. So that's nice, isn't it?
Yeah. Again, it's another one where some people have just been waiting for this for ages, so they'll have it day one, which is 18th, by the way. Yeah, it's like it doesn't interest me, but it'll interest a lot of people.
Oh yeah,
and they'll love it.
Absolutely. If I ever get an Xbone, I might pick it up. there'll probably be Forza 7 out by then.
Oh, is it an Expo exclusive, this one?
It certainly is, yes.
One of the... Now, educate me. What are the big... And I'm sure we've had this conversation before, but what are the big exclusives at the moment?
For Expo?
For both?
Oh, God, we're going to be here a while. Well, we are and we aren't.
Well, Gears of War.
There's not that many.
This brings to mind.
Gears of War, definitely, and Halo.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
For Microsoft, and then you got your Forza.
What about Crash Bandicoot for Sony?
No one gives a shit about Crash these days, mate. Or Spyro.
I do.
All that stuff's old hat now.
I'd buy fucking Spyro.
No,
Spyro
like
Go.
These days.
My words.
Spyro Go. It'll probably happen. But no one gives a crap about that purple dragon these days. It's not what the kids are into. They're into their Call of Duties. They're shooting people in the face and all that
GTA.
kind of shit. GTA, yeah. That's what it's all about these days. Exclusives aren't such a big thing these days. It's so expensive to develop games that a lot of publishers can't justify just releasing it on one console.
No.
So even if they release on one to start with, they then bring it out on other platforms down the road anyway, and that's fine by me.
Was Until Dawn? Was that exclusive?
PS4 exclusive? It certainly is. Whether it comes out, I think it's very much a Sony product. So at the most, it's probably going to come out on PC, but it may just stay as PS4. For good.
That's interesting.
That's nice. They got themselves a decent exclusive.
Yeah, it seems like it kind of did a bit better than everyone expected. Although I could be wrong.
That's cool.
Not exactly.
Cool.
I'm not I don't predict these things very often, but I got the impression it kind of did pretty well upon release.
Yeah, I think it's at least been a bit of a cult hit. I must admit the message that it puts across is probably a bit different to what the game's actually like by the sounds of it. Because to me, I just heard, and looking briefly at the marketing and whatever, it was a horror game, like a standard horror game, and I was like, don't care. But the more I've heard about it and hearing you talk about it, it does actually sound quite interesting.
I'll tell you what, it's a fucking good game to talk about. Like, again, Mark at work had played it, and I just loved talking to him, going, "Oh, did you do this? Did you do that? Oh, what happened?" Comparing
what happened in your storyline.
Yeah,
that's
great.
Cool. I appreciate that. Sweet. Well, I think we're all done and dusted for this week, aren't we?
I think we are.
It's been nice to get back in the saddle. Sorry again for the huge delay. Hopefully, won't happen again anytime soon.
No, moves out the way. Sore throat is healing. So, all being well, we'll just be we'll be back on track,
Just be banging them out again, won't we?
Yeah.
So, we've not got a lot of progress to report, have we?
No.
Particularly, but same again. Look at our website, it's nice. Send us... Actually, have we got a contact yet?
No, it's on the to-do list.
Write us some reviews. Go on, guys. We'd really appreciate a nice, tasty review on iTunes.
Yeah, we'd love that.
And then we'll even read it out and kiss your feet, metaphorically.
Show you some love.
Yeah. Please do that. Leave us a review. But other than that, anything else you wanted to say for this week?
No, I think that's covered everything. Thanks for listening.
Yes, thank you very much. And we will speak hopefully soon.
Yes.
Hopefully. Goodbye.
See ya.